Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations in Horror, the podcast. I am your host, Kevin O'Powers. I'm also the owner operator of Something Wicked Film Festival and Events, and welcome to our program today. Now, if you've been following us on our show, you will realize that what we do is we take a single individual film and we critique, analyze, and sort of have a conversation about this film. It's just a single film. I know some of you out there may think that we're doing more than one film, but we like to give each individual film its own time and love. That being said, every episode I bring on a different host to help me critique, analyze, and have a conversation about this film. And it's always a great pleasure to have different people on the show. That being said, we're going to be talking about the film today. I almost forgot what it was because it was so short. Jordan Peele's Us. And to talk about this film with me today, I have my returning guest host, Mr. Philip Ray. I want to thank him for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, there's not that many titles of movies that are just 2 letters long. So Us is going to be the film that we talk about today. And this is one of the rarity for us, as we don't normally do too many more modern films. So it's going to be a good, good exercise to kind of talk about the film. So, Philip, just kind of like we normally do, when was the first time you saw this film and what was your reactions to it?
So I saw Us in theaters. So again, like everyone else, I saw Get Out and I was like, this is awesome. This is amazing. And so when Us was announced, which was Jordan Peele's second movie as a director and stuff, like everyone, I was like, okay, I want to see this. I want to see how it goes and stuff. And yeah, definitely did not disappoint. I will say overall, I do think Get Out's more superior comparatively, but there is a lot in this movie that is good. Again, the trailer was phenomenal. Again, it started the joke after this movie of Jordan Peele's taking a catchy like pop song and then turning it sinister. This was the movie that started that trend. And again, and I think even they know the hit they had with the music and stuff, because multiple times throughout this movie you get the "I've got 5 on it" like sinister version throughout the movie with it, which again has a nice beat and stuff. But definitely, yeah. But yeah, overall though, I very much enjoyed the movie. I do cast was great. This is one of the few movies, but like I know she was in movies before this, but for me, Lupita, and I'm gonna butcher her last name, so I'm not even gonna try. Like this is one of my first movies, like really registering her in. I know before that she was her big movie was 12 Years a Slave, but this was the first movie I really registered like, oh, I really like this actress. And Winston Duke also, like, this was a great role for him too and stuff. Again, overall the cast is really good. And we'll talk more about it when we get to it. The only thing I would say about this movie was I do think the ending is a little weak, but we'll talk more spoilers about that later.
It's funny that you mentioned that because when I originally, and I've only seen this movie twice. Of all the Jordan Peele's movies, this one I saw it once in the theater and I saw it for the show. So I had forgotten a lot of stuff about the movie because unfortunately for me, after I did not care for this one nearly as much as I did Get Out. I thought the performances were great by Elizabeth Moss and Lupita Nyong'o. I think I can't pronounce. I may have butchered her name, but I want to try to say her name, so I'll try and say it throughout the show. Hopefully, she will forgive me because I find her to be a very phenomenal actress. Everything post this, because I never saw 12 Years a Slave yet. I still have yet to see that movie. But the thing I did like about the movie is it gave all these great actors and actresses the opportunity to play dual roles. And that's what I found fascinating by this film. She does like a phenomenal, she steals every scene in either one of the characters' roles, the entire movie, because she brings so much character and ambiance and gravitas to the whole film. Winston Duke for me in this film is funny. Uh, he's funny in this movie to me. He's like that everyday kind of guy who's funny, and then when you see his double Abraham, it's like, whoa, okay. So I like the fact that the contrast between the shadow character and then the real character are so different. Same with Elizabeth Moss. I was like, oh man, and she's phenomenal in everything she has. So I think Jordan Peele got an amazing cast for this film. Overall, the whole cast does a phenomenal job, and him as a director brings a much better visual flair than what he had in Get Out. I think the visuals for this are freaking amazing. The parallels between both the real world and the shadow world, and then the undertones of the whole Alice in Wonderland going down the rabbit hole, the white rabbits everywhere. The some of the stuff in this film is visually fucking amazing. I like you though. The ending was something that left to be desired, and it kind of ruined the whole movie to me because I love the movie up until the ending, and then that's why I kind of had the original impression that I didn't care for it. But having rewatched it, for the podcast, I was like, nah, I was wrong. I need to reevaluate this because the visuals are just so fucking strong in this movie. Even with the very end and the whole "Hands Across America" thing, it's such a really cool fucking visual motif that he has throughout the whole film. I have to give it more props than I did when I originally saw it.
Yeah, it's again visually wise, the concept wise about this idea of the doppelgangers, like everyone has a doppelganger, and like the tethered is a cool concept. It's just the problem, and it's gets so many cool visuals. Again, like the visual of like the son's tethered walking backward, like when he was trying to take out his doppelganger by basically realizing, oh, he follows what I do, so basically I will walk backward, get him to walk backwards into the flames and stuff. Great, it was such a cool idea, and visuals looked cool.
Well,
It's just
well, yeah, I was about to say to add to that particular thing. I don't think I realized that they set that whole thing up earlier in the film when Jason first sees his doppelganger, his shadow, and they go into the closet and the closet slash cabinet, and they're mirroring each other the entire time, and that's what prompts him at the very end to do that. And I was like, I didn't see that when I first saw it. I'm seeing it now because I know what the whole story is about. So I'm seeing these things much more visually the second time I watched it. So go ahead, but I wanted to add that to you what you were saying though.
oh yeah, no, I mean, and that's it. It's like a lot of that. Again, it's and the Hands Across America stuff again was cool. It was a good visual. The ending for me is I think that's a lot of people's points of either the ending is going to ruin it or it doesn't. It doesn't ruin it for me, but it is an ending that again, it's you have to turn your brain off of. It's one of those endings that it's like you either turn your brain off, enjoy the visual and be like, oh, okay, this is cool, or you try to be logical with it and it's like, I've got so many questions and the movie's now done.
Well, you're supposed to have questions.
Yes, but again, we're not going to get an us too, so it's just kind of you kind of left. It kind of makes multiple rewatchings uh
Yeah.
kind of harder at times because you're just like, oh. And again, like the twist at the end with Red, great. That was a great twist and stuff. Uh Again, and like it's the difference for this movie from being good versus great. I think if the tether stuff was more properly addressed, I think this movie would be great.
You
Because
don't
they
think
don't
it was?
huh?
You don't think it was?
Uh no, because there's a lot of questions that again, it's like with the logistics of the tether, I'm like, okay, first of all, because again, like the fact that government has stopped doing there's just so many questions. It's like, okay, so the government has stopped. So the only way the tethered have stayed alive is by eating rabbits. how the hell are they still alive? Because the implications again is that this government project stopped years ago,
Yeah.
like 20, 30 years ago. It's like somehow they stockpiled enough rabbits to be able to keep all these tethered alive.
Now,
Uh,
rabbits
there,
multiply extremely fast. That's why they're everywhere.
yeah, but it's
That's why that's literally why there's that saying things multiply like rabbits because they multiply so fast.
but also the tethered are technically also growing with
Yeah,
the implication that like the tethered are having babies
yeah.
and continues that on. So it's just like and it kind of goes like, okay, does every town have a tether? Does everyone have a tether? And if they do, again, you get to that question of like, okay, I doubt there's enough rabbits to deal with the ongoing, like the rabbits are not going to be producing enough to be able that this is a Thanos situation of there's going to be too many tethered that are populating for the rabbits to keep up and stuff.
That is a strange question to be asking of the film to answer, though, dude.
It's just like stuff like that of like, okay, because even there are also other stuff too of like, again, we talked about it. I want to remember the son's name. Uh,
Jason?
Jason. Like Jason, as we saw with Jason, his tethered copying him a lot, but then the other tethered don't copy them,
No.
but then sometimes they do, and it's kind of like what's I don't know. It's just kind of like, and maybe I don't know. It can be a little.
The thing is, when they were underground, the ideal is that the tether kind of mimics what they're doing for the most part, but they're not like 100%. So their lives are not solidified by what happens above, and that's why Pluto is burned and Jason isn't burned.
Yeah.
Uh, Pluto likes to play with fire. And whereas Pluto wears a different type of mask. And this is one of the things I loved about the movie watching it the second time, the whole motif of mask in here. Jason wears a mask because he fears so much stuff in the world. Pluto doesn't wear a mask because he fears anything, because he fears nothing. Pluto wears a mask to hide the fact that he's burned his face, and it's more or less his it's not a security blanket or anything like that, like it is with Jason, who always has the mask on. Even if it's not over his face, it's above his head. His mother is the only one who takes the mask off. And then with Adelaide, Adelaide is literally wearing someone else's mask the entire film until the reveal at the end. Like
Yeah.
she's like and then of course the original Adelaide, who is now Red, has more or less taken up the that persona of having lived down there. You never get the sense that Red has ever been up in the real world. She never hints that at all. It's like she's lost that when she got trapped down there. It's all seen from Adelaide's perspective when she has those flashbacks of what actually happened. Which I thought was interesting, because the first thing that could have came out of Red's mouth when she first met Adelaide in the house is that she's doing this for revenge for being trapped down there by her. But she doesn't say that. She doesn't mention that. You don't get any sense of that at all. It's like she's part of that world now, and she's forgotten that she was originally above the earth. I was like, oh, that's some cool. And I didn't see any of that when I originally saw the movie, because I'm watching it just like everyone else. I'm watching it for the first time, and I'm not picking up on all the subtleties in the movie. Like I didn't pick up on the Alice in Wonderland thing until the second time I watched it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Alice in
Yeah,
Wonderland.
there's a whole shit ton of Alice in Wonderland. But when I watched it, I wasn't looking for Jordan Peele to be stuck in motifs of Alice in Wonderland in Us. Uh, um, so I think that my impressions of this when I first saw it is like I saw Get Out. I love Get Out, and I wanted to see Get Out again. And we got something completely different, which is I'm glad for. Because then he moved on from this to do Nope, which I consider his best film out of all of them, because it shows how he can write and execute everything that's in his head without any type of oversight. And I think that's his most freeing movie and his most satisfying movie to me. But that's because he's done Get Out and he did Us. Like But
Uh, another thing too, another cool imagery I do like about this movie is the scissors. The
mhm.
scissors are a cool, are very cool design.
Not just that, but the fact that they all wear one glove and they have the scissor, I think is the shears, the very large shears in their hands that they kill each person with. I think is a very cool motif. Um, I don't know if I really got that the first time I watched it, but it's been so long since I saw the movie the first time, compared to me just watching it having a little earlier today. So
Yeah. No, but yeah, no, but yeah, no, I mean, I do, again, there's a lot about this movie that is, again, like, uh, eventually we'll talk about Nope and Get Out at some point, but again, like, all of Jordan Peele's movies have some level of creativity, consistency, like, they're all good. They all have their things that are good about them and stuff. Um, I'm curious about, have you seen Nope?
yeah, I love Nope. Nope is like I said, Nope I think is his best film.
That's interesting because oh yeah, I remember we've had this talk. I I probably still favor Get Out probably the most of the group. I do think that actually I don't know.
For
I
me, just so you know, for me, Get Out is strongest in the written area. The performances are good. They're not great. They're very good. They're very good, but I think it's because of the writing that Get Out is so good. Us, I think, is visually fucking amazing. And I think that performances of the cast are amazing. I think it falters. Oh, when I first saw the movie, I think this movie faltered because I think they tried to explain too much, in my opinion. I don't need to be all that shit to be explained. I like the metaphors with the way he described the whole tether thing. When Red is telling Adelaide and the whole family the story of the shadows when they have them all in the house. I think that tells me enough to get through the whole movie until they start trying to overly explain stuff below. I think the whole Hands Across America thing is a nice ideal. I think I don't know if I could come up with a better ideal, to be honest with you, because they were trying to make a global statement. But it's one of those things where in the '80s you would have seen something like that metaphorically, but they took it very literally when they actually did it. So that always was an iffy thing, and it's still an iffy thing with me. But with Nope, I think the performances, I think the visuals, I think the story, I think everything is satisfying, and I think it's got enough gore and horror in it to satisfy horror fans, but not so much that it will ostracize general audiences. I think also making it like an alien film and a family film at the same time also helps. And I think that's why I like Nope, and I think Nope is a better film than all of them because it brings all of those elements together in a cohesive way. I just think the other two, Get Out's raw. Get Out is literally a very raw film. So it's like watching what's his face, Christopher Nolan's Memento. You go back and watch Memento. Originally, it was a brilliant fucking movie, but then he did so much shit better after that.
yeah, well, listen, listeners, we're gonna have to get a Nope episode at some point because definitely there's some things you said that I agree with and some things I don't agree with. So talking about with us with that, I do agree. I do think goes on to my ongoing stuff of again, less is more. I do think explain stuff sometimes is too much. I will agree. I think my first I think the tethered stuff would work better if it wasn't fully explained. Because that was my issue was that it felt he tried to over explain the
Mm-hmm.
tethered stuff, and that's when it's like my brain just kept thinking of wait, but how would this and what about that? But again, like you said, I think if they hadn't fully explained everything, I think that would help this movie a lot more for me and probably some other people too. And then the Hands Across America, same. Like For someone, again, for our listeners, I'm in my early 30s and stuff. So the Hands Across America, for me, I didn't know what the hell that was when I first watched the movie and stuff. I got the general idea, but definitely it was something that spoke more to Jordan Peele at the time than, and it's more of a reference that like again, it's if you're old enough to understand it, you'll get it. If you were a little bit of a younger side, you're like, I don't know what this is a reference to. I guess this was the thing. I'll just look it up later, and then you go, oh, okay. And yeah, I while the image, like I get what Jordan Peele's trying to do with the image with the Hands Across America, it definitely does kind of go okay because you really don't even. Again, it's like it was weird what they decided to explain and not explain. You never really understood, other than for a cool visual, what was the even point for the tether to do that? Because it's like, I mean, their goal was ideally was we're taking over. We're going to kill our the people above and take over their spots and stuff. But and that was Red's whole like
Mhm.
plan. But then she ends up failing and stuff, and you're like now they're doing this hand cost America. And it's like, okay, what's the goal?
Well, they set the goal for that. They're trying to make a global statement, so that they're to the world saying they're here and they're not necessarily going to stay hidden any longer. That was
Yeah,
the problem that, and this is the problem I still have with the movie, is that there are a lot of big concepts overall, like even the ideal of, and I don't know if they directly say the government. They just say I thought they just said it was an experiment that they gave up on. I can't
I,
remember if they actually said
I,
the government or not.
they did say the government.
Did they say
Yeah,
the government?
they did say the government, which was also like this goes into like the I have so many questions because I think, and I could be wrong, uh, because my rewatching happened a while ago. I think the Hands Across America, they did show other countries, I want to say.
Yes.
And so then you're like, hold on, did every government do this?
I
Like that again, this is that asks you got to ask so many questions. Like, wait, did all governments agree to do this at the same time? Did all of them fail at the same time? Like,
well, I kind of I and you're right. There are some questions about that, but I kind of got that because it was just Hands Across America. In general, it was just a bad American experiment that just went bad, or they gave up on it. The ideal of the government creating doppelgangers to could use as puppets to control people. That's kind of like this weird little conspiracy theory thing already. To be honest with you, and that whole ideal kind of seems too far fetched. It's one of those ideals that comes like it's a little too far fetched. And to imagine that there are these government facilities, I'm gonna say government now because you said they actually said that government facilities across America that did this across the board, having people who were tethered to someone else. You have the biggest question you have to have is did they create this for every person or did they just create this for a certain amount of people? Um, and so then there won't be a doppelganger trying to kill people if there is not a doppelganger of them, because essentially what you see is they kill their real world counterpart and then they join hands. So they wouldn't go out and just kill random people.
yeah, the big thing about the movie was they only would try to kill their equivalent. So that was a big deal, was like you didn't see Red trying to kill the other characters so much because again, they're only trying to kill their equivalent and
Well,
stuff.
yeah, you would say that, but they also show you that news report where they see all the people in the streets, and they don't know exactly why they're in the streets because they're not holding hands at this part. And there's a couple of them who are one person assaults the camera person, and that you wonder if that was the the camera person's doppelganger, or was that just someone else? Because that camera person wouldn't have been there had he not had a story to tell. So how would the doppelganger be there?
Yeah, so
So,
again, you get into the whole like
so so
out of all three of Jordan Peele's movies, this is the movie that I think script wise, if these three scripts were placed from someone, I would say this is the script that needed the most tweaking.
It just needed some scissors to cut out the stuff that didn't really gel. I think it would have been fine if they. I think it would have been fine if they didn't have a news report in there, but then they would have to explain why half the fucking streets are empty and people were dead. I thought that was kind of. I know why it's in there, but it's kind of hokey because you see absolutely no one else alive. Like
Yeah.
no one else alive. Like the people know that this is happening, that people in red with scissors are killing people, but there doesn't seem to be anyone alive. Like everyone just got shocked that their doppelganger was coming at them and just said, "Oh, my doppelganger is going to kill me," and then they died. Like the people who dies in their cars and stuff like that that you see everywhere. I was like, this is not like the zombie apocalypse, so it kind of seems kind of weird.
Yeah, it is very it is very weird.
That's because he tries to explain too much. Towards that end, it's like he feels like he needs to have this explanation for why everything's happening. I would have been perfectly fine with like a news report that just saying there's these people coming in there in red with scissors killing people and not showing the scene with all of them in the streets and the camera guy getting assaulted, because that just didn't make much sense. It kind of throws off your logic with everything that you're seeing. And of course, you should see people who are still alive and people who are out there, killing people who are in red because they're easy to notice. Like they're not wearing regular clothes at this point until they kill the person that they're supposed to be killing. They're and and that's the other thing. You know, some people just automatically kill people, but like Red and Abraham and the rest of them, Red, they play with them before they kill them.
Yeah.
You know? Which they don't do with Josh and Kitty. Josh and Kitty and the twins get killed automatically without regard, and so do Josh and Kitty. They may let Kitty live a little bit before they finally kill her, but they don't play with them. The only one you see them play with is Red and that family playing with them. Like Abraham doesn't kill Gabe right off the bat. Abraham takes Gabe in the bag in the boat to the middle of the lake. There's no reason for that.
No, I mean, that scene was one of those, like, you get into the whole, it's a common movie trope a lot of times where it's like, well, we need our character to get away, so we can't have our antagonist think logically. They have to do something unlogical so that way the character can find a way out. Because normally, if the character was actually planning to do what they needed to do, the character would be dead.
And I don't mind the whole the doppelgangers chasing after each other. I thought that was actually kind of cool with the Red and Abraham and them. I just didn't find it interesting when it happened to Kitty and Josh and the twins. If they had done that with them, it would have been much more interesting, and you would have gotten that idea that these people, the doppelgangers / the shadows, are not necessarily just going to kill their doppelgangers, the real people, their real counterpart right away. They're going to play with them before killing them. And we see a little of that with the twins doppelgangers, because they're doing fucking cartwheels and stuff in the middle of the hallways and standing on their hands and stuff before they start doing stuff. But you don't see that on the other two, Josh or Kitty. So it kind of seems kind of weird, you know?
Yeah, it's because the idea they went with some of the doppelgangers is that they have different personalities of the other. They're like, oh, like you said before, like Abraham is more like he's not as afraid as Gabe is and stuff. And then like Pluto's a little bit more scared compared, like, but then it's like, so it's kind of, but again, it's not consistent of like, okay, because again, their personalities are different. So it's like, so yeah, it's just like, it's just not consistent. And so sometimes some of the tethered reactions are kind of like, you don't know what they're actually trying to do, because like you said, some of them are like straight to the point, and then some of them are like, I'm going to play, or I'm going to, it does get a little inconsistent at times.
But the thing is, it may be inconsistent or it may not, because the thing is, once the tethered use the Red when she's a little girl as that special god when she actually explained that whole story when it all came about, and they found a reason to keep going, a focal point, their god, so to speak, is what Red is. That could be why they all have different personalities. I actually one of the things I did like is that the way they use Red to kind of tell the story of the tethered people. I liked it best when she's telling the story the first time when there are shadows. And then, of course, I like the way when you're seeing the younger version of Adelaide walking through the corridors, and you're seeing the parallel of what's happening above as well as what's happening below, and every one of the tethered are acting more or less the exact same. Which at that point they shouldn't be because they're supposed to have gone mad because there's no one down there supervising everything. So you
Yeah,
kind of wonder why they're actually 100% acting like the people above. Um,
which I would say again, the twist with Adelaide and Red was really well done. One thing I do appreciate the way they did that is again the fact that it's not like Adeline or Red explaining like, oh, remember the night when I
yeah,
took your place and all that. It is just told through the scene, and then again you it ends with again like Jason like kind of looking at his mom and like thinking like some like you don't really know what to say. You don't really know the context of what Jason's thinking when he looks at his mom at the end there. But us as audience members, we get that dramatic irony where we're like, oh,
yeah,
like
but yeah, but rewatching it, he gets something. He knows there's something off by his mom when she is brutally killing the twin. When he catches her killing the twin, that they thought was dead. You can see it because the way she screams is almost the same way that Abraham screams in that one way. You see, there's a little bit of offness. They kind of set it up. I wish I had seen it the very first time. I kind of like that as the way they ended it.
yeah.
So
But no, like definitely that was definitely that was a strong twist at the end there. That's definitely like a great like that's yeah, a very great foreshadow.
no, I agree with you on that one. I think they did an excellent job with that. Uh, and that's the thing about this movie here. This is a movie that's very divisive, as you can all hear us talking about this movie because we're assuming that you absolutely know everything about the movie because you've already seen the movie because we've talked nothing about plot in this movie on this show, and we've kind of talked about all the themes and stuff that we think are in the movies and how we should react to them or how we could react to them, which makes for a very interesting conversation about this movie. This movie, despite the flaws that we think we see in it, we still enjoy aspects of it through and through. It's not just a Jordan Peele film. I mean, I've seen a lot of doppelganger movies in my time. There are some really creative ones out there, and then there's some really, really, really bad ones out there. But this is one that, yeah, you watch it, and even though you think there's some flaws in it, you kind of go back and you want to say, huh, it's still a great movie, but there's some of these weird things that we should definitely talk about.
It's again, it's a flaw. It's definitely a flaw. It's a not again. It's a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's a flawed movie. It's a good flawed movie, which happens sometimes.
And that's one of the great things on whether we're going to talk about like Get Out one day, and then of course Nope. There are aspects of all of Peele's films in which some people will love, some people will hate. There are people I know who swear up and down that Get Out is one of the best movies, and the rest of Jordan Peele's movies suck, which always always boggles my mind sometimes. But a lot of directors who have put their personal spin on their own types of films, and they choose to redefine the movies that they do from time to time, always will have these type of films out there that are like, they're not like 100% masterpieces, but they're films that make you want to think and make you want to question what you watched and what was presented in front of you. Um, I mean, you look at Christopher Nolan, Martin Scorsese, John Carpenter, David Cronenberg. These are directors that don't make simple movies. They just don't. So, I'm trying to think of other aspects of this film that we're going to talk about there.
I mean, that's pretty much it, at least for me. Again, it really comes like everyone who I've ever talked to about this movie, it's always the ending stuff with the like everyone loves everything up until the tether stuff, which again, for some people they hate it, some people they can get over it, and there's some people that's in the middle. But again, like the rest of the movie, like again, like the concept with the tether, like visually and stuff, and the imagery is again like really good. Again, the cast is good too. Like, um, yeah.
So I'm going to reference another horror film when I talk about this because I think that what could have made people like the movie a lot more, who maybe didn't like it, is the fact that because it's a film that starts off on a very small canvas. And then at some point, it decides to go on a very large canvas in terms of story. If it had struck to one or the other, it may have been a stronger movie. And I'm going to reference the movie The Purge, the first Purge, which they have a great, huge world that is just hinted at in the first movie, but it's a really intimate movie that takes place relatively in a one location area. But the world aspects are very, very minuscule until you get to the Forever Purge, when they make it a very large scale. Like that movie is designed to be a large scale version of The Purge. Now, I think this film here, if it had decided to go on a smaller scale, focused on the two families, the Adelaide's family, and then of course the Josh and Kitty family, and didn't decide to make it such a global type of thing. Like this is the apocalypse type of movie by the end of the movie now. Everyone's dead. This is the apocalypse. The tethered are taking over the world. I think it would have played better for a lot more audiences. And then of course he could have Peele in 10 years could have done Us Against the World or something. I don't
No, I 100% agree. I think if it was not as global, I think you're completely correct. I think this would have been even more well liked. I think that would help some of the issues people had with some like me. I would say like already I'm like, yeah, no, that I could see that working better. This having again, the script overall just needed a little more tightening down, and definitely something like that would definitely tighten it down.
Yeah. I also think that this is Peele's like first real movie. To be honest with you, like he was tethered with the studio kind of ideals with Get Out. I know he had a lot of freedom with that, but there's also a lot of expectations because that first movie, him and the key Keegan Michael Key, I can't when they did with the one with the cat. I forget what that fucking movie was though.
Yeah.
Keanu, which tanked at the box office, and he had to come up with his. I think it was Jason Blum who gave him the money to do Get Out, and no one else was going to give him. In theory, no one else was going to give him that money to do a horror movie because he was so known for comedies. Uh, you know, he took some chances, but he didn't take a whole lot of chances with Get Out. He made it more of a personalized, small scale type of movie. It worked extremely well. It wasn't like this huge global thing, but when you're trying to do a sophomore film and you have to do something bigger than your first real film, he did Us.
Well, it's funny with Us too. Jason Blum was supposed to also produce this movie, but this time around, Universal wanted to, have more money and stuff. So again, Blumhouse is going to do a low budget. So when he came up with a low budget, Universal was like, "You're, we'll put you down as a producer, but we're going to find more people." Like you're just gonna get an honorary producer thing, but yeah, we want more money on this one.
Yeah, which is so funny because now Jason Blum has a multi-picture deal with Universal. I don't know if it's still going on, but he did. I don't know how many films that he ended up producing for Universal, which is
I think
hilarious.
let's see. I think they
Well,
still.
he produces movies for everybody now, and he does big budget movies and small budget movies. So he could have done this one back in the day.
Oh, now yeah, nowadays easily would have done it, but yeah, but
Back
at the
then,
time, yeah.
yeah. So it's quite funny of that. I mean, Nope is a much bigger scaled movie. So
Okay, they are no longer, in theory, they no longer have a deal. They did a 10-year plan, uh, a 10-year deal with Universal, but that expired last year.
yeah,
So
I was about to say, yeah, they had a certain amount of films that Blum was producing for Universal, whether they went straight to streaming or if they went theatrical. I can't remember all the movies they did. Blum had this weird, they had a deal similar to multiple different platforms, which I thought was fucking brilliant on his part.
yeah.
He was he was overstretching himself doing movies all over the fucking place. Oh Jesus! And for the most part, most of them are profitable. I mean, there's some that won't be as profitable as others, and then some that will be disappointing in certain aspects, like Megan 2. But Megan 2 is not going to be one that was like tanked or not profitable. It's not like it cost a whole shit ton to make to begin with.
Yeah, it just didn't make as much money as they were hoping for.
Oh, of
But that
course.
also, I mean, that was again, I mean, even Jason Blum admitted that he for some reason thought that the movie would have done okay being next to Superman and Fantastic Four, which was no, anyone could have told you that, but
It's called counter programming, dude. Why do you think you have weapons now, only a couple weeks after Fantastic Four? And
well,
that
yeah,
made
but that was that they had enough room between the two of those, but
2 weeks.
for movies like that, it does not matter. But I digress.
No, you bring up a good point in terms of horror. The horror has always been the counter programming for everything else. That's why they release horror movies during December, the time when people want to see holiday movies. They will always release a horror movie during the holidays as counter programming to everything else. It's always been successful, whether it's one of the Scream movies, which the original Scream was released during that time. I don't know if any of the other ones were, but Scream was, and as well as other ones. It's counter programming, you know. Every once in a while you just get those type of movies. I think Barbarian was released at the beginning of summer, but that was a sleeper hit. People want to see that shit, you know.
Yeah, I'm seeing
Or
it.
yeah, and they don't have to make a whole lot of money to turn a profit. That's the other thing. They don't need to make $200 million to turn a profit. You have a 12 million, 15, $25 million film, they make 50, 60 million and they turn a profit, you know?
Yeah, because Us came out in March. I'm curious to see what it went up against.
Mm.
It uh it went up against nothing. That's why it did so well. It literally that month, Captain Marvel and Medea Family Funeral were its contenders.
No, just Captain Marvel, since Captain Marvel did $1 billion at the box office.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, yeah, again, like it had no competition that month, and that's why it made so much money.
Counter programming. Counter programming is what you just said. Captain Marvel. Yes, that's counter programming. Everyone who doesn't want to go watch a superhero film would go see us. Oh, Jesus. All right. So with that, I don't have anything else to talk about in regards to this movie. I could talk about this movie, just to bring up different aspects of it. But I do want to say that I really do love the concept of the whole tethers and the shadows and however you want to doppelgangers, however you want to describe it. I do like some of the aspects, especially with the red character, because the red character seems like she never acknowledges that she was the original Adelaide as a child, but she has all this frustration and anger with the world above because she feels like she's just been forgotten and left to the madness that is supposed to be down there. And I like that they didn't give her that reason that she wants revenge. That could have been I know they wanted to keep that whole secret to the reveal at the very end, but that could have changed that aspect of the character and made her a much different type of character. I like the way that they developed her character because they don't say why she can talk and no one else does until
Yep.
the very end, and you realize that she was the original Admiral.
Yeah, no. And again, I think that's definitely like again, that is a nice once you know what's going on, you're like, oh, like and again, and talking about with Lupita with
Yeah,
that, uh
young nope.
the voice for Red, like the concept was really like again, such an effective way
Uh-huh.
to do it. And apparently she went to like a lot of different like coaches to replicate that type of voice to do be able to do that voice and definitely it was like that nailed the creep factor.
Yeah, it does. I do remember, and my wife is a huge Jordan Peele fan, so I've taken her to go see all three of these movies at the theater on opening weekend. This was date night. If you can imagine that, this was date night for us. Get Out, Us, and Nope. And she really loved her in this movie, and I think her performance. I don't know why I haven't seen 12 Years a Slave because that's a fucking movie that made her that got her a name. I've seen lots of her shit after this movie, and I still haven't seen that one yet because she's such a phenomenal actor in everything she's in. And Winston Duke is growing on me, dude. I didn't know who he was when I did this movie, but I've been seeing him in everything else. I'm like, God damn it, this guy's just funny as shit. I found him hilarious in this movie. I'm watching the movie again, and I'm like, oh my god, he's so fucking hilarious. He seems like a genuine father character. Like this whole family that Jordan Peele crafted seems genuine, and even the Josh and Kitty and their animosity towards each other, but they're still together because they have twins. That seems so genuine to me. Like these are real people.
Yes.
I loved watching these people. I loved watching these actors and these characters.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
All right. Any other thing you'd like to talk about with us?
Nope.
All right. So, everyone who's listening to the podcast, what we like to do at the end of the episodes, we like to kind of give a rating for the film, 1 to 5 stars, 1 being horrible, 5 stars being amazing. Where on the spectrum, Philip, do you put Jordan Peele's Us?
I would give it a 4.
Ah, excellent. Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that because I'm going to give it a 4 too. That being said, I was if I had not rewatched it, I would have given it a 3. I really do I enjoy this movie and appreciate this movie now after having seen Nope. I can see like this was like the bridge between Get Out and Nope and where he came from. To be honest with you, for me, it gets this higher rating because for a short period of time, even though Jordan Peele has done he directed lots of episodes of his show and everything. This is a huge like achievement in regards to his filmmaking talent between Get Out to Us to Nope. Like I am, even though he didn't direct Hymns, I am dying to see what the hell he came up with as a producer for Hymns, and I want to see what the hell he does next as a director because he's come so far in such a short amount of time.
He is again like Jordan Peele became one of the prime examples of uh, a comedy actor turn into horror movie and stuff. And I mean, Jordan Peele became the poster child with both this and Nope and Get Out.
Yeah. So I mean, and lots of people start off like that. Everyone seems to forget that even Clint Eastwood's first movie is a horror movie. Play Misty for me as a director. He almost, he had to beg, borrow, and steal to get that job because he's a Western guy. No one thought that he could do anything like that. He proved it wrong, obviously, because he's still fucking directing. I love Clint Eastwood, and he's like almost 100 years old, and he's fucking still directing movies. Like he can't retire. He says he's retiring. I don't care what you say, Clint. You say you're retiring. I don't think you are. I hope Jordan Peele doesn't ever retire. I think he's got plenty of great movies left in him as a director and as a writer. And I'm always looking forward to seeing what he comes up with next, whether he's directing or producing. I think he's someone to look out for. Um, with that, I want to thank you, Philip, for joining us on this Conversations in Horror regarding Jordan Peele's Us. From everyone I hear out there, from everyone here it's Something Wicked Entertainment and Conversations in Horror, we hope that you've enjoyed this show. Please make sure to check out our previous episodes on your favorite podcast app, Spotify, or YouTube. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, do that thing you do so you never miss an episode. Every regular episodes are every Wednesday at 8 a.m. and every special themed episode usually comes out on Monday at 8 a.m. Now, don't forget to check out our sister podcast, Conversations in 4Color, which delves deep into manga, comic books, and graphic novels. That is on our Patreon page, so please make sure to check out our Patreon page. It is a subscribe and follow type of website, so you'll have to be one of our subscribers or followers in order to listen to that podcast. But trust me, you'll enjoy that one as well. From all of us here, have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode of the show. Conversations in Horror is a Broken Lighthouse Pictures production, written, produced, and directed by Kevin L. Powers, executive producer Kelly A. Inoka. All contents and material from this episode of Conversations in Horror is copyright 2025 Broken Lighthouse Pictures.